Hello and welcome everyone. I'm going to be starting my 30-day, 30 book summary videos today. And for my first book summary video, I have chosen the book Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. So, before we begin with the book summary, if you listen to the video till the end, in the end, I will give you a little personal opinion about what I thought about the book and how you can use the insights from this book in professional and personal conversations. So, with that note, let's get on with it. Today's book summary. So, Outliers is a brilliant and small book about successful people. Not just about people who got success, but how most successful people got success because of some common factors. So, the author Malcolm Gladwell defines outlier as a person who is markedly different from his peers. So, yeah, there is some drive or energy or passion that is there in those people who wanted to get successful, and all of those who had this fire and drive finally got successful when they completed this rule. So he has identified this rule which he calls the 10,000 hour rule. This is the most important insight of this book. So he says that any person who has been successful in his or her field has actually had the practice of about 10,000 hours of their domain or their sport or their art form or their technology or whatever it is that they are successful in. They have done it for 10,000 hours. So he gives examples of Beatles, of Bill Gates, how and when their successful journey started, is in when people started recognizing them at that point of time when they came under the lens of being successful. They had practiced their art form for about 10,000 hours, and that's what he brings into context with a lot of examples of a lot of famous and successful personalities and even their peers who were born at the same time, who had different environments, who were not able to do those 10,000 hours, and that's why were not, even though they were more talented, were not able to be as successful. He also brings about the fact that when you are born, the kind of age when you start working on it, especially in sports leagues. He's given example of a lot of American sports. So they have a cutoff range where you enter the sports league. So if you're born at a certain time period, your chances of being selected, if you choose to be, are much more higher in that case. So he says that success is not just individualistic in its own sense. It matters is what background you were born to, what time period you were born in, and then what upbringing you got, was what kind of hardships, what kind of social circles, all these, how do they culminate in your success or do not culminate into your success. He's given examples of that. So there's a lot of insightful examples that he gives. And then he also talks a lot about cultural importance in upbringing and your success. So he has talked about communication as well, and a very impactful anecdote he has shared about a certain Korean airlines that had a lot of crashes in a given period of time, and once analyzed, they realized that it was the communication between the pilot and the co-pilot which wasn't happening at the right time to avoid these crashes, which could have been done in some other setting. And the reason they found was that inherently Korean people have these boundaries of seniority which they can't cross. The conditioning is such. So even though they are technically qualified, the co-pilot wasn't able to put his foot down because the senior was his pilot. So how communication is so important in settings where people's lives matter, like an airplane cockpit. So it's important. We all know that communication is important, but he's highlighted some beautiful incidences which make it very impactful. So if you like these insights from the book, I'd suggest you go and read for yourself. It's not a very heavy book on the eyes, and a very simple book in terms of vocabulary, so non-readers won't have a problem reading it. And he's given examples of a lot of data in between, so there's a flow, and then you have breather space. So it's not like if you read a chapter, two chapters a day, and then you continue after a week, you'll feel lost or something. It's a well written book that way. So if you like what I've told you, and you're more curious about it, you must go and read it. In case not, and if you're only relying on my book summary, thank you for that. And I'd like to tell you that you can use the reference of this book in any conversation, professional or personal, where you're talking about successful people, especially the insight of the 10,000 rule. And if you feel curious about it, go and see the biographies of people who in sports or music or dance or whatever field you are interested in, and people who have been successful and how many hours of practice have they put before they were noticed by the world. And you'll get to know for yourself that the 10,000 rule is actually kind of a pattern or reality for successful people, and for yourself as well. So if you've been practicing something for 10,000 hours, maybe that is something you should actually put more focus on, and you might be successful very soon. So that's all for me from today. And I'd like to thank you all for watching this video. And I'll come up with some very interesting videos today, tomorrow, and day after as well. So stay tuned and thank you very much.